like to call to order the regular meeting of the Carrabelle City Commission. It's Thursday, May 5th, 2016 at 6 p.m. sharp at the Carrabelle Municipal Complex. And may I ask Commissioner Allen to say the prayer, and then we'll pledge allegiance to the flag. Please stand.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful that we have this opportunity to come together tonight in this assembly to discuss the things that pertain to this wonderful city that you've given us. We ask you to continue to bless us, that we might grow and prosper, and that we'll all live in good health. We're thankful, Father, that we got our Commissioner Walden back, at least for a while, and we ask you to be with him, that he might overcome his difficulties, and be with us in our judgments and wisdom, that we might do what's best and better for everybody concerned. In this name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, may I have someone entertain a motion regarding the minutes from the regular meeting on April the 7th, and then we had a special meeting on April 21st.
I make a motion to pass those minutes for the April 5th and the special meeting
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Massey and a second by Commissioner Allen. Is there any discussion regarding those minutes? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay.
I'm Melanie Enzetta, the project director for the Carrabelle and East Point Nest, and I'm coming before you because we have a dilemma with our trash at the nest. They brought this to attention to me a month or so ago that I guess there used to be a dumpster out here that was being used for household garbage, and the city had the waste management or whoever remove it. We were using that to dump our waste also, and our previous custodian then started taking it to wherever the dumpster was moved, or to one of the other locations. Since then, we've hired a new custodian who does not have a truck to haul our trash, and I was called the other day because we were in violation because they didn't tell me. They just, I guess, were ignoring the trash. I'm not certain what they were doing, but I guess they discovered there was trash everywhere. So I have since asked Mr. Butler to be kind enough to haul our trash off temporarily until we can figure out a solution. I spoke with Department of Roads and Massey, is that correct? Mr. Butler? Massey, yes, Mr. Massey. He said that he sometimes comes over when he can to pick it up, but he has to pick up inmates, and then the inmates can't come here when there's children here, of course, and it's becoming an issue. I am trying to find a solution, but I was hoping that y'all could maybe help us out, at least temporarily, try to figure out something.
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard about this issue over the past month or so, and
Me too.
I've talked to the attorney about it, and I've reviewed the lease and purchase agreements that we have, that the city has with the school board that they signed back in late 2008. And it says that the city is to provide utilities to the Boys and Girls Club or any other club that may succeed the Boys and Girls Club. So I had intended to ask the attorney during his report, would he review that those agreements again and let us know exactly what utilities stands for. Those agreements have some definitions listed in it, but it does not say utilities. I mean, it doesn't define utilities. What are utilities? The Public Service Commission lists utilities as your natural gas, which we don't have, but like electricity, sewer, power, that kind of thing. So we need to know if a garbage service is considered a utility, then the city will stand by its agreement and provide that. If not, then we'll, contact, who is your supervisor?
Well, I report directly to Nick O'Grady, and then of course, then after that to Nina Marks. And what I was going to ask, if we find out that you're not covering it, my budget's locked for the year anyway, till I get a new one in August. And even then, I'm tight on providing stuff because we didn't receive, we originally received almost 500,000, but last year I was cut 80,000 because that's the way the grant works. And so now it's hard to pay staff and provide activities for these students. But if you can't find it, I hate to show my hand up front, but I was wondering if I went to the school board and tried to get them to pay half of a small dumpster, if the city might be willing to pay the other half, if it doesn't fall under utilities.
I don't know what to say.
I'm just asking you to consider it.
It's the pleasure of the board, but meanwhile, can we go ahead and direct the attorney to help us to figure out exactly what our obligations are? I mean, if our obligations, you might be able to figure this out here shortly, within the week.
Oh, yeah.
And if our obligations are to provide garbage service, then, we'll do that. The taxpayers of Carrabelle will provide the garbage service for the Boys and Girls Club. But I don't know what to tell y'all. If y'all have any ideas for, for their...
How much do you usually have, say, in a week?
I'll have to defer to Mr. Butler. He's the one who's having to haul it off. He's my high-paid trash man.
And I believe, aren't you getting ready to serve supper as well?
Well, we do serve supper, but in the summers we serve breakfast and lunch. Now next year they're going to be doing away with supper, so we won't be doing supper. We'll just be doing a snack. So that will reduce trash
Next year.
extent. Yes, but that's still next year.
Yeah, but the supper's given to them to take out. They don't eat it there, so it's not, unless they leave it on the ground.
Yeah, right. So how much trash do we take out?
But it depends on what type of meal it's got and how much of it is, prepared and how messy it is and how much weight it has. But I would say somewhere between the 33 gallons and a little less, 25, 33
A day?
a day. So, I mean, and sometimes it only be some,
Like a residential...
the big gray trash can.
Residential can. And then that includes your classroom garbage, debris, and restaurant, restroom.
We really don't.
Not that much.
Just like y'all don't, probably
It's
why
not
you
even
don't,
a
probably,
regular residential can they get a day, it's just a regular garbage bag a day. Is what it
not a
says.
regular, it's a 40 gallon.
Oh, a 40 gallon,
About
not a 30.
Yeah, the great big gray
Yes.
ones they have.
55 gallon bag, probably.
I took out 2 small bags one day, and the next day I had that one filled up and half of a 13
So,
gallon.
and I had talked with staff about putting a couple of residential cans in there that Waste Pro could pick up, that they would have to get the cans outside in the morning for Waste Pro, so that we're not, putting a dumpster in the back for other uses.
Well, I think we can work with the city. I mean, budget-wise, we may not be able to get grant money for doing trash service, but we can get the right kind of trash bags. We can double bag it, we can hold it longer like that. But the way it is and where we were putting it, it was being broken. It was being, such it was loose and becoming a health hazard. So,
And we don't want that, so.
well,
We don't want that.
but nobody wants that.
Well, and the whole problem with the dumpster in the first place was it was being abused. So if we put a dumpster back there, we're right back to the same
Yeah.
situation we were in before.
But we have one at the school, and we have a lock on it.
And even if you...
That one had a lock too.
If you put,
But it wasn't being
even if
locked
you put a
back.
couple of residential cans outside,
Somebody's gonna-
Yeah.
they'll be abused. So I don't know what the solution is.
I would just have given them pick up the bag in the morning and take it wherever we take ours here.
And now that is a problem too, because we would have to put another dumpster at the streets and roads. There's not You know, they're full up now, their streets and roads for the yard dump, the dumpster that they have for the debris that they pick up off the streets.
It fills that one up.
And
How
that was-
often
that
they
was the
pick that
problem
one
when we
up?
got that
I
cleaned
know
up.
they pick that one up on Fridays.
Yeah.
How many times a week is it picked up? Just on Fridays?
I mean, we could put another dumpster at streets and roads, but now they lock that gate. What time do they lock that gate?
That's the other thing.
At 4 o'clock.
And they don't have a way to get their garbage from here to streets and roads anyway, I don't think.
Well, and even if we did, if it's closed at 4,
Yeah.
they don't clean till after that. They're
Another
leaving
one
here
of
7
those is
o'clock.
gonna double our garbage bill.
Yeah, well, here, there.
Well, as you recall, we had a 2 bigger one back there. The scrappers had taken half the door off. The bears were helping us with a tipping fee because they were taking half of it out every night. So we felt like we were, getting in trouble feeding the bears back there. But the point is, we never needed one that big. I know when I tried to help with Lanark Village, we had an old dumpster that was out at St. James that we got, the Franklin County Correctional. They repaired it. We gave them the metal. They repaired it. They made a safety bar that we could lock so the bears couldn't open it up.
Well, we just need to figure out something short-term until we
Well,
can have the attorney tell us he may have to get with Miss Nina Marks and figure out, the school board may have to.
Well, my recommendation is to the boss here that we have smaller, I cannot pick up a trash bag, as heavy as that is. And I don't think anybody should be doing that, but get something less than a 55-gallon drum and have smaller bags. If we double bag them and we put them away from where the food area is, we can stretch out the time that we have. It'll take a couple of days before it goes, and then we'll talk to you about how we can take it out. And of course, I'm always the fallback position. Just call me Fred Sanford. Is that a plan?
Where are we taking it?
To the city. I just have to be careful for the top when it comes down.
So then, are we going to need to get another dumpster at streets and roads, or were they gonna be able to manage until we can figure out if the city's got to provide this service or not?
I don't know, was it full when you went last time to take it?
Yes.
Full to the brim?
Maybe we can check with getting a twice a week pickup. Because Miranda
It's
did
still
say
doubling the price.
Yeah,
They don't prorate or anything, it's just doubles the price.
No matter how full or empty it is.
Yeah.
Or if it's one pickup or 2 pickups, they pick up twice a month, it's just double the.
Double.
Can we get it picked up twice a week for about a month? Can they do that?
I think Miranda told us that they did a twice a week pickup, but only on dumpsters and not on residential.
Yeah, that's correct, but can we just, you think they could do that for a month until we can get this resolved?
We'll call them and ask them.
And then if you could leave a bag overnight and take it first thing when you get here the day, before the yard closes, because you get here at what, 3?
Right.
So take that, the day before's trash out the first thing, and then save the bag every night, but it's not piling up like it was.
And we're currently, Ms. Nzetta is currently in the process of getting a new janitorial service, so we can hopefully put that into.
Yeah, I'm already putting in the word, truck preferred.
But somebody's got to do it. If you were gonna double it up like that, do we own that dumpster that's out at our maintenance area, 6th Street? Do we own it, or do Waste Pro provide it?
Waste Pro owns it.
Okay, so if we were gonna have it picked up twice a week, and they were gonna charge us double, why wouldn't we just put the second one here and have each of them picked up?
It's protected out
It's
there.
got a
It's locked
gate
in.
so that people aren't throwing their trash.
Well, I mean, no, but they do have them where they lock, when I take the trash out to the school, they have a sliding door on it, the tops.
But
And it's-
that one had one too, that's the
Somebody
point.
cut it off.
Mr.
Yeah.
Butler, when we,
Okay.
if we
And
are,
it wasn't getting closed properly.
the agreement requires that the city provide garbage service, and the city will provide garbage service.
Well, I understand it has to be secure equipment. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Oh, are we going to go ahead and direct the attorney to look into that for us? Is that all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we won't discuss that later. Sorry, done. Okay?
Greg Christopherson. I just wanted to say on behalf of the American Legion and most of the veterans that I've spoken with, that we're very proud of the new upgrades to Veterans Park here in Carrabelle. But there were some, I'd call them somewhat offensive correspondence to the mayor and some of the staff about the placement of the military seals up there, that they were not in the correct order. Now, there was a mistake made at the very first, but that was for the guy that installed it. He corrected that. So I contacted the DOD and spoke with Minerva Mercado,
What's DOD?
Department of Defense.
Oh,
They're the ones that oversee all that. She's the protocol officer. She wrote back to me and gave me the exact DOD directive 1005.8, and the order is Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, just like it is up there. So just wanted everyone in the public and that public to know that the military seals are in the correct order, and if anybody has a problem with that, I have the directive here if anybody wants to look at it. I appreciate it. Everything looks great there, and we need to probably do some kind of a dedication soon once it gets all finished, but appreciate it. Thank you.
It does look good.
thank you. Okay, then is there any more public comment at this time? All right, then we'll move on to Commissioner report. Commissioner Walden.
I have nothing.
No report this evening. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Mathis.
I have nothing.
All right, and Commissioner Massey.
I have some, I want to say congratulations to our Lady Seahawk. They done real good at state today. They went into, I think, the 13th inning. They did get beat by score, but they still winners in my book, and they done a good job, and they was tired at the end of it. I actually watched it on TV. So, and the graveyard's been cut this week, and the garbage has been picked up all around it. The fire department, they have been busy. The first responders and all, they took about 11 calls, and that's wrecked, so, you know, well, I've got anything. They used the ladder truck one time, but they've had, wrecks and fires. They had over 11 of them this last month. Plus they had a few first responder calls, so they have been busy. And if anybody wants to know, they don't make that much. I think they made like $200 a piece last month from responding to about 13 different things. So it's $25 a call. But they still get paid if they go or they don't go. And which, you know, but about $200 a piece. The first responders, they get, you know, a little extra because they go to some that the fire department don't, but they've been busy. They've worked hard for that. And I do want to say the memorial wall does look real good down there now.
Thank you. Commissioner Allen, do you have a report for us?
Just one thing, Cameron handed me this brochure. It's about the plein air event that comes here every year, and it's some nationally known artists that do, you'll see them painting on the street, in the woods, everywhere they can find a place to set up. They do a real good job. I'm always impressed with some of the subject matter they pick, but that's what art is all about. So there will be a hosting event at the Rio Carrabelle. What's the date on that, Cameron?
It's next Tuesday. 4 to 6 next Tuesday. I don't remember.
Okay, and that's at the Rio Carrabelle. So if you can get out and look at some of the paintings, a lot of those will be local Carrabelle people. But treat them nicely and be friendly to them and tell them how glad you are that they're here. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I've got quite a bit. Something unexpected came up earlier this week on Tuesday, but I just wanted to report that to date, the Water and Sewer Department has sold this year to date 7 new water taps and 7 new sewer taps. And then we also have a new lift station that's been installed at the corner of Northeast Avenue H and Northeast 5th Street, or if it's not installed, it's going to be very soon. And all the equipment, materials, and installation costs for this lift station were completely funded by the developer of the 4 model homes that are in that area. And as soon as it's complete, passes Inovia's inspection, it will be given and turned over to the Water and Sewer Department. And then in April, our water and sewer clerk took a classroom instruction on preparation of the Florida Department of Environmental required annual drinking water quality reports. So she's going to be preparing these reports in the future, and that's alleviating the need to hire an independent contractor to complete the reports, which was about $1,200 a year. And the reports will be for the Carrabelle and the Lanark water treatment systems. And the 2015, the reports run a year behind because they have to take samples quarterly. And so the 2015 Carrabelle and Lanark water treatment reports are complete, and they'll be published in the newspaper within the next month. And then they're also going to be available to view on the city's website. And I'm really happy to report on behalf of the city and the Water and Sewer Department that public notice mailings regarding drinking water contaminants for Carrabelle and Lanark have not been required by the DEP since October of 2012. And we're going to put that statement on the home page of our website. We want people to know that our staff is working to routinely monitor for contaminants, and the MIAC systems are working well in Lanark and Carrabelle. And they're sampled routinely according to federal and state laws and rules and regulations. And then on April the 21st, the minutes that we just approved, the City Commission had a special meeting regarding resolutions supporting an application for a community development block grant. And this is in the commercial revitalization category. And the resolutions were approved during that special meeting. The grant application is in the amount of $650,000 to conduct what we're calling right now the Northwest Avenue B project. And if the CDBG grant funding is guaranteed or granted, given to us, the CRA has agreed to leverage an additional $310,000 towards the project. And the project's going to include stormwater drainage improvements, curb and gutter, sidewalks, streetscape improvements along Northwest Avenue D, and a few connecting side streets going south one block to Highway 98. And the project's intended for future expansion of the city's commercial district going one block north on Highway 98. So we hope that happens. It'll be a big project if it does. And then, you know, sometimes people get busy and occupied with taking care of day-to-day problems. I know I do here working with the city. I'm busy following up on projects, ongoing projects, working on future projects and plans, and even settling disputes like garbage management disputes. And sometimes I'm so busy, it's difficult to keep up with state and national tributes and appreciation weeks. And our past mayor, Mel Kelly, notified me just a couple of days ago that this is Florida Memorial Law Enforcement Week. And for police officers who were downed in the line of duty. And this past May 1st and 2nd in Tallahassee, there were several events for survivors of officers who were downed in the line of duty. So through Mel Kelly's efforts to provide me with information, and Courtney helped, I'm able to remind the community today of the heroism of John D. Patton, the only Carrabelle police officer killed in the line of duty while he was responding to a local domestic call on Saturday, July 9th, 1977. He served 1 year with the Carrabelle Police Department. He was only 28 years old when his life was suddenly taken. He was married with 2 young children. And then back in 2006, Deputy Brannon of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office wrote, "I remember seeing Officer Patton around Carrabelle. He was always dressed professional and crisp, pressed to the T in his appearance. He was a good role model to me. I was 13 and remember riding my bicycle to the location of the shooting that day. It looked like the whole town was there. Now as a law enforcement officer myself, Officer Patton is both a role model and a teacher to me." And then back on March 23rd, 2006, the then Lieutenant Joe Ham of Carrabelle wrote, "We all recall you gave your best. You did your job, now you can rest. Your comrades now can cover your post as you take your place with the heavenly host. God bless our fallen brothers and sisters. Then on July 7th, 2007, the John David Patton Wildlife Park was dedicated to Carrabelle's only police officer killed in the line of duty. It's a 25-acre wildlife park located on Highway 67 in the northern city limits of Carrabelle. It has nature trails, educational signage, picnic facilities, and restrooms, and it was built and named in honor of Officer John David Patton. The entrance sign commemorates Officer Patton's sacrifice with the Charles A. Lindbergh quote, "In wilderness, I sense the miracle of life." Photos were taken during that 2007 park dedication, which Courtney provided to me, and I posted those photos on my Facebook page for everybody to see. So I just want to thank Mel Kelly and Courtney for helping with the background information so I can report these events to you today. And I want to tell all the ladies and moms, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies. We hope you have a beautiful day on Sunday. And thank you very much. Okay, then we'll move forward. Do you remember Officer Patton down? As I was reading that, I was thinking you must, and you were a youngster.
No, I was a youngster.
No.
Brandon might have been.
Well, then that was 40 years ago. Soon to
I was a young man.
be. Yeah.
I remember it well. Like I say, there was a lot of people there.
So, okay, well then we'll move on to staff reports and Inovia, and he's not here. Molly was supposed to come in Russell's place, but he's not here. Did you all receive your reports? And it's pretty much cut and dry, pretty much standard. On number 4, he was reporting about the lift station improvements on Highway 98, and Charlie with the supervisor of the sewer department, who's already discussed with us his 2016-17 budget funding request, and he's going to be requesting capital funding for this project to complete that 98 lift station. And then he's reported up here about the CDBG grant cycle, and it'll be 2 to 3 weeks before we find out about the funding that project's actually going to have. So, anything else on that? Courtney might be able to answer. Y'all have any questions on his report?
No.
Okay. And then Ms. Tamble, Waterfront Partnership.
Good evening. I just want to say that we have recently received a donation at the Carrabelle History Museum to set up a memorial to John David Patton there at the museum. So we would love to get copies of some information that you have there, because we want to make a little book about him and about the circumstances. And I happened to run into Shelley Rowell today, who was the Fish and Wildlife person who actually drug him out. He was still alive at the time they arrived, and he pulled him out. And then he went in and shot the guy, and according to what he told me today, I'm trying to find a badge that looks like the simple one that he had, that just had the littlest police station on it, that real simple one that they used back then, so that we can either get one or take a picture of one that we can put in. There's a picture of it on the website Fallen Heroes that where we saw that. So we thought it would be nice to have one, since that's what his own badge looked like at the time. But I just thought you might know that. And I'm just here tonight to say thank you to everyone with the city, everyone, all the staff, all of you that helped us, and the chamber, Carrabelle Cares, the chamber, the Waterfront Partnership people, and everyone else that made a contribution to the most successful Riverfront Festival this past month. And if somebody could have just kept the rain off on Friday, I think we could have had 2 successful days. But we got a lot of real positive comments about what we had set up on B Street. And I think the legend of Tate Cell and the movie that we found at the archives at FSU and some other things are gonna turn into be future public relations opportunities for the city of Carrabelle. And at the same time, we're collecting stories at the museum about people's own experiences in Tate's Health. What were your favorite experiences? So we're, Carla Dean Jaton is going around talking to folks and recording their favorite stories about their own experiences in Tate's Health, because I think it's a big part of our history here, and people always want to know about it. Where did it come from? How did it come? It's named that. And so now you can send them down to the wall in the alley between the barber shop and the art gallery, and there's a billboard-sized poster that we put up for the festival, that the museum put up for the festival, so that they can find out many things they might want to know about Tate's Health, and the person, the place, the legend, and someday we're going to have an event with the movie so that everybody can see it. And we appreciate everybody's help, and that's all I have for tonight. Unless you have any questions. Thank you.
I've seen several people looking at that sign and reading it, and they really want to get engaged in a conversation about it. Great story.
And we've got a small version out in front of the museum. People want to talk about that too, so. Mentioned our name in the song, that's what happened. And we got
And thank you, Ms. Tamron. We have your historical preservation small mansion grant resolution will be taken up
good.
shortly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, then Mr. Butler's here, but you have no report. Y'all didn't have a meeting. The Economic Development Council did not have a meeting this month. Okay, then the Carrabelle Aviation Advisory Board.
Did everybody get the report? Is there any questions you'd like me to read it? Or?
I got the report, he emailed it to me.
Y'all were busy this month.
Yes, the airport's actually, traffic's picked up here quite a bit. So we've had military aircraft in there, the state. That's not, I didn't put that in the report, but it has increased quite a bit.
I did have one question.
Okay.
You found my paper. It was on the gas. It was on the gas. It said the, anyway, it was about moving the bottom part of the gas tank.
We're in the middle of that renovation project where they're gonna move the gas tank to another area.
Are you gonna sell the old gas out
Right.
there?
Yeah.
Just to anybody, but not for aviation
Exactly,
purposes?
right. It's at the bottom of the tank. You can't get, you have to actually hand crank it out, and it's not filtered and all that. So we just, I checked with the distributor. They would charge you to come in and get it out. You didn't have to have a truck and suck it out and then transport it. So this way we're gonna make a few dollars on it. We're gonna use that to buy a couple radios that we'll have for the tractor and, you know, the guys out there cutting grass and all.
Okay, I had seen it in there somewhere, I can't remember where I seen it, but
The
that's
other
what I
thing
was
that-
gonna ask you about.
Yeah, well, you brought up the fire department too. I mean, they were busy this month, and they were out there twice with the ladder truck. They got one more trip out there, but Carl Whaley and Bud Strange, yeah. And
They fixed the light. Tell them what light they fixed.
yeah, there's a rotating beacon out there that's been broken for a while. It's been hit by lightning, so they brought the truck out there. And they got a busy schedule, but they squeezed us in. And Greg Newman went up there and really just to assess the damage, find out what was up there. We ordered some parts. They came back out again, brought them back up there, and then there was, as he replaced parts, we found another problem. So it's working right now, but they're going to make one more trip here as soon as the parts come in. But if we didn't do that, it would cost at least $1,400 each time that we went up there for the truck, the lift truck to get up there. And then we'd have to pay somebody to do it also. So they saved the airport a lot of money.
Thank you.
And it was good. I went out on one of the times, the first time, and took pictures and put those on my Facebook page so people can see actually how Bud was able to manipulate that ladder right up there, 70 feet, right to that platform up on top of that beacon tower, the stanchion tower that.
Yeah, it's a 70-foot tall,
Yeah.
and that ladder truck is up there, just
And then
perfect.
there's a floor that lifts up, and he had to get that ladder right up in there.
It was really neat to watch.
Very exciting. They were good. Carl Whaley, with his watchful eye, watched every move.
Right.
They were very careful. It was a good operation. And then I know you got your fire extinguishers repaired, and then you're working on your tree removal so that your license can move forward with the
Right,
license.
it was waiting on those two things, we've got the trees to take down, and we'll have plenty of time before.
And there was quite a discrepancy about the airport ownership, and we had, a good bit of letter writing going back and forth on the state level, but we got that taken care of.
Yeah, there was different locations were listed, different ownerships of the airport, and now we're finally getting it down to who owns it, who operates it.
And the city of Carrabelle owns and operates.
The city of Carrabelle
Yes,
owns
no
it and
doubt.
operates it.
No doubt. Yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions. The point here, removing all the trees on the airport, is that from fence to fence and fence to fence?
Yes,
So it's just gonna be one big pasture there.
it's gonna be one big open area. While we were there, the inspector, during the inspection, there was a black bear ran across the highway while
I
they
understand
inspected.
the wildlife.
And that's what it's all about, and that's gonna be the next push for the FDOT is wildlife management at airports. And they're in the middle of getting a contract together with outsourcing it to another company but if you go to most airports, you'll see when you stand in the airport, you can see the perimeter fence around.
Will we be able to sell any of the timber out of there?
That's what we're looking at now. There's a possibility there'll be some money from the chipping. But we're having a hard time getting somebody to come in there and do that. But if we do, we're gonna put that right back towards the landscaping.
How many
And one
trees
other
is that?
question.
There's quite a few, but they're sparsely located. There's not like a big clump, there's not many big clumps together. So that's the difficulty of getting somebody to come in is that they have to move around quite a bit to get what's in there. And I guess it's just chipwood is about the only value it has. There's very few sawwood or pulpwood there.
So it wouldn't be like you could hire, we wouldn't have to hire somebody, I mean, they could buy the trees from us and go remove them.
Right, the way it works is the contractor contacts the companies, gets the highest bidder for the wood, and that's who gets the contract to it.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering, do we need to bid it out for somebody to cut it down? And us pay them to cut it down, or are we gonna sell the trees off of it?
We're gonna have them come in and take the wood and give us money.
That's what I was
Yeah,
wondering.
right.
Okay.
And we
It'll
did
be a minimal amount, but it will be something.
Oh, yeah.
we did that about a year ago for a field, this emergency spray field out in Lanark that the Water and Sewer Department owns. They actually paid some money.
Some, it wasn't much, but they got.
About $5,000 and cleared the land so that we can, and the DEP was requiring us to have an emergency spray field, so it worked out great.
Yeah.
And hopefully this.
Yeah, if we
will
can
have
get
the
this
same-
done and not cost anything, we're way ahead of the game.
One other question about the fuel tank, where you're gonna put it, is that being cleaned out, ready for?
That'll be some of the tree removal there, but that's in the JPA, and that should start here real soon. There was an error in the bidding, the addition in one of the bids. So the company that was going to get awarded was actually the higher bidder, so they contacted lower bidder. I don't know, have you heard back from them?
I haven't heard back from him.
Okay, so we're just waiting for the final, and then we'll get started on that.
But the land prep, site prep is part of the
That's part of it.
project.
Right.
Is there any more questions for Mr. Sullivan?
That's all I have.
Okay, we thank you so much and thank you for all of your hard work. I know that all of you have been working hard this month on this, trying to catch up there. And then, attorney's report.
I have none.
Okay, we thank you so much. And city administrator.
I just want to report that last month y'all had asked me to order a survey for this property, and I've done that, and we're waiting on that so we can see the elevation. We're still waiting for that.
Okay, and so we didn't put the discussion again of relocation of City Hall at this time because we want to see exactly what we're looking at for a topographical map, what we're, how high we would have to go. And then, once that comes, we did direct the city administrator to have a representative from Sperry Buildings come down, so, we'll try to get that done this next month, and then place this item back on the agenda in June. So y'all, if you have any ideas on something that we could do for relocation, or how we're gonna get funding, or if we're gonna, stay here, or exactly what, but we'll just discuss it next month. Okay, so next we have a public hearing, and we have a resolution, and resolution 07206, and I'd like to ask the attorney to read that, please.
Resolution 07-2016, whereas the City of Carrabelle values the preservation of its historic structures, including the Marvin N. Justice Old City Hall, and whereas the City of Carrabelle 2020 Comprehensive Plan includes an historic element which sets out our value for historic properties, and whereas the City of Carrabelle wishes to apply for an historic preservation small matching grant in the 2018 cycle from the state of Florida, and whereas Carrabelle is a rural economic development initiative ready community, now therefore let it be resolved that the City Commission of Carrabelle commits its full support for this grant application. Be it further resolved that the City of Carrabelle agrees to provide up to $1,250 in in-kind match for this grant in the form of grant administration necessary to meet all the state of Florida requirements, dated this 5th day of May in the regular monthly meeting with the City of Carrabelle Commission.
Okay, did I read this as a $50,000? Okay. And we discussed this in depth at our last meeting, and verbally approved it, and then now we're having a resolution. And are there any questions regarding the resolution? Well, then may I ask for a motion to regarding this historic preservation small matching grant resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Allen and a second by Commissioner Massey. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then the motion carries. And thank you so much. And so you have the resolution, and I'll sign that tomorrow for you. Or tonight if they have it. Have one for me to sign. All right, then we're going to move on to old business, and we have one item, discussion of possible action concerning the noise ordinance. Let's see now, I'm trying to remember. We had a workshop on the 21st. We've had so many workshops. Okay, we had a workshop during our last meeting when we were all here. We agreed to a workshop on this issue, and that was on the 21st. And Commissioner Massey and Commissioner Allen were there. But before that workshop, we conducted an independent meeting on April the 19th. With Mr. Bo May, and he had to fly out of town unexpectedly, or he would have been here tonight. And then for death in his family, and Mr. Eric Pfeiffer, the owner of Fathoms, and Mr. Skip Frank, and I believe Mr. Frank is here, and Chief Huntings, because whatever ordinance that we come up with, the police department's going to have to be able to work with it and to manage it. So that was important to have the chief's input. And all those people at that meeting had an opportunity, a full month. They had the they had the current city noise ordinance, and then they had the Apalachicola noise ordinance that was introduced by the city attorney. So they all had a significant amount of time to review, and we worked together about 2 hours, and we came up with a proposal that I presented to Commissioner Allen and Commissioner Massey. And then, do you have that proposal now? Did you put that in their box, Keisha?
Mm-hmm.
So have y'all had a chance to see that? And it seemed like, well, I mean, they all agreed to it. Mr. Bo May, Eric Pfeiffer, Skip Frank, and Chief Huntings, and myself. And then we discussed it at the workshop and went into detail, and we tended to agree with it at the workshop. Do y'all have any other input on it?
No, everybody was satisfied with it. I'm satisfied with it too.
Chief,
It's not going to make everybody happy, but I think it's the best job we can do at the present time.
Well,
and if any problem comes up with it, then we'll
They
deal with
actually
it
already
then.
had a workshop between all the business owners on that district. The mayor was there, the chief was there. They all come up with this. So I don't think There should be no.
Well, we wanted to make sure it was something that the police department could work with, because the city's ordinance is very difficult in taking the measurement. And they would have to take 60 measurements every 10 seconds, and they just couldn't do that. And then the Apalachicola ordinance, I called Lee Mathis and talked to her for a good while. She was very helpful, and I appreciate that. And this, the Apalachicola ordinance was really designed for their residential area, and they have a problem with a lot of boom boxes or going in vehicles and at night, and then loud radios with the bass played up real loud. So they were trying to address that issue. And their ordinance talks about measuring it at the land, either where it's generated or at the receiving land as appropriate. And that wording really wasn't, we didn't care for that wording. We want to, and the chief didn't care for that either. He wants to know, you want me to measure it where they're emitting the noise, or you want me to measure it where the receiving was. So we came up to measure at the land where it's being where the complaint is originating. So I guess then, if you all approve this, the time limits are set here on the back page. Y'all saw that, 10 a.m. to midnight, 65 decibels, and on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday. And then from midnight to 10 a.m., no loud music allowed, or no amplified music. And then on Friday, Saturday, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Memorial Day, Eve, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, 10 a.m. to midnight, 65 decibels, and that's at the land of the complaint. And then midnight to 2 a.m., 55 decibels, and then after 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., no amplified music is allowed. We discussed and went over the method of measurement and the location of measurement, and then create some wording that we put down here for the attorney to work into his draft ordinance. And if you all think that this is okay, Mr. Frank, are you still in agreement? And,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I have a chance on mine.
Okay, and I talked with Mr. May by phone. He's still in agreement, Mr. Pfeiffer, and the chief. And you had something.
The night of the Waterfronts Festival, I was music that night. That's okay for you there.
Let me think. Well, it was a festival, you know, so.
Because I took measurements at right there in front of your place,
How was it?
around 43.
Oh.
43 to 45.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling y'all in that meeting. If we're gonna take it from the property line of the complaint, we need to really be careful. If it's 65, they will be really loud at Fathom. At Fathom's front door at the road was like in 65. And
Now-
you were standing there with me at one point, and Frank Spade and Paxson was like in the 80s from that band, the other band that was on Main Street.
The chamber hired, and that was extremely high.
Living hired. That was Christie's College Living, and
Okay.
the Riverfront Festival hired. that.
Oh, okay, sorry, thank you. So, well, I mean, we can continue to measure.
It don't bother me, I'm just letting them know, maybe think about it.
And one thing that they all expressed was that the time of day, you know, if they could at least have a time to tell the residents, you can tell the residents, well, it's gonna be shut off at midnight, or it's Friday night, they're gonna shut off at 2 o'clock. You know, at least people will know that it's going to stop and it's not gonna go all night long. And we don't wanna shut down our business.
I think we need to put this baby to bed, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, what we need to do is have the attorney draft an ordinance.
Oh, okay, this
This
is not,
is just,
this
you know,
is, okay.
proposed
I
wording.
make a motion, the attorney draft an ordinance, so with this wording as we agreed on, and
Okay, and then, all right, do we have a motion and a second? Okay, so that's a motion by Mr. Allen and a second by, Commissioner Allen, and a second by Commissioner Mathis to direct the attorney to draft an ordinance with this wording. And is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Brenda.
Aye. Any opposed?
Brenda?
Okay. Oh, excuse me, we have some discussion.
Can you hear it from Leonard?
Actually, I'm the
St. James
I'm the St.
Bay.
James. I'm not St. James Bay, but I'm
Can
not
you
St.
hear it
James.
out there?
No.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very, except for the motorcycles leaving the golf course, it's pretty quiet out there.
Well, we can't help that.
In calling around to other counties that would have to deal with the same issue we're doing here, and I called like Mayo, which, you know, they don't have entertainment and stuff that would really be an issue for. But I called trying to get a hold of St. Andrews, which has a downtown, like Market Street, CRA area. They're doing downtown revitalization. And they referred me to the Panama City Police Department because they don't have any separate law enforcement there. And I got a hold of the operations person who would be over this. And in talking with him, he relayed that yes, they did have a decimeter at one time. And they tried to keep them certified and, you know, and meet all the requirements. And they found it much simpler to put an ordinance in place that basically used a common sense approach that if they go to the complainant's property and if they can hear the music, then they just go to the place that's having the music and then talk to them.
You can't do that because I live at 3 Rivers Road and I can hear them, but it don't bother me.
But the point is without all the, you know, he said to keep that person licensed, you know, and to have all the things in place that if you were going to legally have an ordinance and do something, Panama City Police Department can't do it. I think it's a, you know, it's a little bit of a stretch for us to do that here. I mean, they had it and they got rid of it. And the question would be is if you get up with them, find out what they put into their ordinances such that they could give a civil citation. I mean, they could do something, but it's done without having the technology of a decimeter, and if you're 5 under or 5 over, and then if they do it, what are you going to do? But I personally think that we don't need to get into the more technical realm of it.
That's why our current ordinance was extremely technical, and we needed to revise that. And actually, the Apalachicola ordinance does have civil remedies and citations, and I don't know, you know, if we want to address that or not. Mr. Hartman, you could include some civil remedies and citations in your draft ordinance, and we can look at it and make revisions to that when you present it next week. Next month. Now, the Panama City ordinance, the decibels were rather high on that, higher than what we've discussed here. So, and we have not enforced our current noise ordinance because we didn't have a decibel meter, and now we have one, and it would be what we've come up here with is a much more simple method of measurement. Now, if we run out of a decibel meter, if it goes bad, we don't replace it, then we won't be able to enforce the noise ordinance as in the past. But we were in the middle of voting. I think we had we all said in favor, and I just didn't say the motion carries. So the motion carries for now for you to bring back a draft ordinance to us to review and mark up, and maybe we'll have to discuss this a couple more times before it's finalized.
Sounds good.
Okay, but we just want to make sure it's right and that we're not putting anybody out of business. But we want folks to sleep at night too. So, okay, all right. There's no new business, so there being no new business, can I get a motion regarding the attorney's invoices?
I make the motion.
You want
To pay.
Okay, to pay the attorney. And is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Massey and a second by Commissioner Mathis. Any more discussion regarding the attorney's invoices? All right, then all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. And may I have a motion then to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, and the second, please. May I have a second to adjourn? Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Massey, a second by Commissioner Walden. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, then we're adjourned.